El área de Ålesund es reconocida mundialmente por su arquitectura en estilo Art Nouveau, pero muy poca gente sabe que también fue un centro muy importante para la cultura vikinga. Así es, la zona donde nosotros vivimos tiene una historia vikinga muy importante, y si tú pones atención, a tu alrededor vas a poder encontrar varias pistas, como por ejemplo este monumento a una tumba vikinga que se encuentra cerca del pueblo donde nosotros estamos. Y de hecho, en la ciudad de Ålesund hay varias personas que están buscando darle más visibilidad a esta historia y poder compartirla con el mundo. Uno de ellos es la compañía llamada Rollo's Footsteps, los cuales ofrecen un tour guiado por la ciudad, y gracias a ellos tuvimos la oportunidad de participar en uno de esos tours, así que en este video vamos a ver cómo nos fue. El tour inicia en el lugar en el que llegan los cruceros a Ålesund. Ahí nos recibió el vikingo Einar Skald, el cual nos llevó alrededor de la ciudad siguiendo los pasos del vikingo Rollo.
And they stayed on a small islands, that's now it's a city, as a camping site. They put up their tents, left their boats by the shore to go trade in the city. The city vanished in the Black Plague in the 1350s. And when they started to build a new one, it was here.
Ya que nos explicó un poco sobre la presencia vikinga en la región, Einar Skald nos llevó al lugar donde tiene su barco vikingo y nos platicó sobre cómo fue construido.
Y miren nomás, vikingos, qué belleza de barco. Como pueden ver, y si les interesa, lo pueden encontrar aquí. Esta es su página de internet. Y ahorita está quitando los banners. Lo más genial de este día, chicos, es que tenemos un tour super VIP. Porque nada más venimos con 2 turistas de Austria. Y claro, con el capitán. No les voy a mentir, a mí siempre me da muchísimo terror subirme o bajarme de barcos. Pero al menos este está cerquita, así que no va a ser tan difícil subirse. Ay, es que cuando se mueven es cuando me da miedo.
Has 10 rowers, 5 on each side. The big ships had 120 rowers, and that's a lot. But of course, then again, to go all the way to England and Iceland, you need a big ship.
Did they have time to rest or to sleep?
Yes?
But like just there, getting all wet and all that, or?
No, in the big ships you will have a tent in the middle.
Oh,
on the other side.
yeah.
So they will go in shifts, rowing and sleeping. If it's good wind, you only need a few crew to sail, and the rest can sleep and stay. And of course they have really good clothes, made of wool and leather. They used fur, sheep fur, a lot of wool. The sail will be woven by wool and linen in between to make it a bit lighter. And you will enforce it with leather, strips of leather. So you have the squares, so if it goes a hole in it, it's easy to fix. And as he said, the sail was the most expensive part of the boat. It took the longest time to make. To build a boat like this in the Viking Age, they will use maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, only with the use of an axe, the only tool they used. What they would do, to take a tree that is totally straight, and take the axe in and split the tree by following its fibers, and use 2 planks, one on each side of the core, and place them on each side of the boat. Then we will keep the strength from the tree. But the sail, it will take, for this little boat, it will take 6 months to make. Yeah. So what they did, a boat like this would last for 30 years, because when you only fix it with tar, like this one, it will start to rot from the inside. And after 30 years, it will get this is 30 years, it's built in 1987, and it's getting really dry. So if you look, we have changed a lot of wood only this year, but we are actually it's at the end of its lifetime. And it's only 30 years, so it's nothing to preserve. We need to build a new one. That's easier and cheaper than to fix this. You asked the question, when the Vikings, the first Viking attack we know in 793 in Lindisfarne in England, the monks described that they saw a bunch of wild people from the north riding over the sea in dragons. And the reason for that is the dragon head you see in the front. On the big ships, that will be 40 meters above the sea level. And this mast, it's very, very easy. This is a clever technique. Because you just loosen, this is a piece of a cow horn. Like this. And we have 6 ropes, like that. You loosen them, and you pull out this pin, and you can put down the mast. So like 3 minutes, the whole mast will disappear. And of course you take down the sail. And from the front, all you will see is the dragon head and the oars coming like wings. And that will terrify the enemy, people riding on the dragon. And of course, if there was a real dragon, it would be scared as well. So you were safe at sea from the sea monsters. And when they were going to trade, you could easily, there's a pin on the dragon head as well. Pull it out, and you will not frighten the people. And you will go with sail all the way in, and they will see, oh, it's a boat. And the Vikings were honorable people. They will not cheat. They will not pretend to be trading and then raiding, because you had to die with honor. So if you're raiding, then the people you're attacking should have a possibility to defend themselves.
No tienen idea de lo emocionada que estaba al subirme a este barco, pero lamentablemente es ilegal navegar en él con turistas porque el gobierno pide que se tengan 2 motores en caso de que uno falle. También se debe tener una lancha salvavidas y aparte te tiene que tener marcado dónde están las salidas de seguridad. Pero este barco es antiquísimo y está hecho con las técnicas de antes, con materiales muy finos, así que se imaginan, le quitaría la magia por completo. El barco vikingo precioso con la pintura amarilla en las orillas. Entonces lo que ellos han decidido es que en lugar de llevar a la gente navegando, al menos podemos tener el contacto con el barco y aprender sobre ellos. Después de la explicación a bordo del barco, nos dirigimos a caminar por las calles de la ciudad. Y en esta caminata nos fue contando historias muy interesantes.
There was another king named Sigurd, and he was the father of the queen that was married to a man named Halvdan Svarte. And he was the victim of the first known traffic accidents we know of in Norway. He was riding his horse and sledge on the lake, and the ice broke and he drowned. So his wife became the queen of 2 small kingdoms, and Sogn was one of them, after her father, because he died of illness. That was embarrassing. But unfortunately, she was the queen for only a short period, and she died as well of illness. And her little son became the king in 2 kingdoms. And he didn't know how to be a king, he was very young. But his grandfather was a good friend with the local earl here. So he went up north and asked Ragnvald, could you please train me to be a good king and a good warrior? And of course he would do that for the grandson of his old friend. After a few years, he grew up, Harald and Rollo was trained together to be great warriors. So they grew up together here. In some English sagas, you will hear that Harald, fine here, is his later name, and Rollo was brothers, but they actually were not, but they grew up together over there. Unfortunately, when Harald was trained, he probably was 14 years old or something, he went back to Sogn, to his kingdom, and he fell in love, like people do, you know. It was a girl named Gyda, and he went to her and said, Gyda, I'm the king of 2 kingdoms, will you marry me? And she just laughed and said, no, no way, not until you're the king of whole Norway. And he said, yeah, okay, then I have to be the king of whole Norway. So he did, he went back here again, once again to his friend, and he said, Ragnvald, if you let me be your king, then I will let you keep all your powers on earth, and I will give you the Orkney Islands as a present. And he just laughed and said, I can keep my power and be the Earl. Yeah, you can be my king. But no, Harald actually had a great army, because he was the king of 4 kingdoms. So now they started to go to the coast and asked everyone, let me be your king, or I kill you. So some place they just said the same, yeah, you're my king, and other places they had to fight and win the land. After 10 years, they came to Stavanger, close to Stavanger, a place named Harfjord, and it was the final battle. And Harald won, of course, because his army was huge. And then they went back to Sogn. You know, of course you know why, to meet Gyda. So Harald came and said, Gyda, I'm the king of all Norway, I have a nice hair, now will you marry me? And she said, I was just joking, and he chopped her head off.
El paseo por la ciudad es fantástico porque te va explicando un poquito más sobre la arquitectura en estilo Art Nouveau. Y lo más importante es que te va enseñando la relación que se tiene con esos diseños de Art Nouveau y los diseños vikingos, porque muchos de los diseños Art Nouveau de las casas en la ciudad de Ålesund incluyen uno que otro detallito que vienen inspirados de esas épocas.
Un vikingo perdido en la ciudad.
Now we were going to make a time leap into the modern history. Actually almost today, 1,000 years in time. If you look at these buildings, you see it's all the same kind of architecture, Art Nouveau. The whole city burned down in 1904. 850 buildings disappeared. 10,000 people were homeless. But we had a lot of emergency aid from Europe. And see the ornaments here. This is not flowers. This is actually the Middle Earth serpent. As you all know, the world is flat.
Yes.
And by the edge, there is a big snake serpent lying around. So if you sail west with your boat, you don't have to be afraid, because when you see the snake, then you can go back.
Y eso es una cosa que me parece muy genial, el hecho de que vamos caminando y que nos va explicando un poco de la arquitectura, que como ustedes saben es Art Nouveau, pero nos está diciendo las influencias de los vikingos.
He is the guy who provided the emergency aids for us, Kaiser Wilhelm. We have a street named after him, we have a statue, pictures in the walls, we even have a big exhibition, a museum with artifacts from him. Before the city burned, he used to have his vacations here.
Después de este recorrido, de haber aprendido sobre el barco y sobre la arquitectura, llegamos a un restaurante en el cual probamos comida inspirada en tiempos vikingos y tuvimos la oportunidad de probar el delicioso mjød.
Y hemos llegado a un restaurante que se llama Hermanas Frid. Søstrene Frid.
Let's see if we can find food.
Oh, good morning. Hello.
This is our friends
Follow
today.
me back to the backyard. So you can sit here at a long table.
The Viking helmet with horns, it's really not practical. Because if I have a helmet like this, it looks cool though. Very, it's cool. But when he attacks me and chops me with an axe, I will break my neck. And that's embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
Skål!
Skål! Now we drink to the gods.
Yes.
So, what you are drinking now is mead.
Or
This is
mjød.
or mjød, yes. Mjød comes from the Russian word for honey. So this is a honey drink. The reason I give you this is because of the raids. They would bring mead instead of water, because water in steel barrels over a long time will go bad, but mead will just continue yeasting, so you will get a stronger drink. I also brought you some of their travel food, and for the same reason they brought this is to have a food that will keep for a long time instead of going bad. So here you have dried fish. This is locally dried. You should really taste it. It's one of the best dried fish I've tried.
Don't smell it, just eat it. It's like cheese.
And it's a bit chewy, so watch your teeth. No takers? Who is the bravest Viking?
The Norwegian one.
Thank you.
And next to the dried fish is a elk sausage with enebär, which I can still not remember the English word for.
No, we found
Es muy chicloso, ¿verdad?
it's enebär. It's a local berry.
Y como pueden ver, el pescado seco es muy chicloso, pero ¿qué te pareció?
Sí, está rico.
¿Está rico?
Sí.
And the fish is very nice to pair with the white dried bread, which they will also bring. So this food, like the dried fish, you can keep for several years without it going bad. So you can live on this every day. So no problem.
You just need enough.
You just need enough, yeah.
Y ya que terminamos de comer, salimos del restaurante y nos dirigimos a un parque que se llama Byparken, en el cual se encuentra la estatua del vikingo Rollo.
This is Rollo. This statue was given to us as a present from the city of Rouen in Normandy, when Normandy was 1,000 years, in 1911. As I told you, Rollo, he was raised by a slave. His father was out together with Harald Finehair, trying to gather Norway to one kingdom. His mother, she was really busy ruling this area. She was the queen. And Rollo had his personal slave named Trond. He was actually a great warrior. So he was given the task to raise him to be the greatest warrior ever. And from the age of 2, he started to learn how to fight with axe and shield, lift heavy rocks. He did that all the time in the training. So he got his first longboat when he was only 12. And he started to raid. He has probably gone to England with Harald Finehair, since the saga says they were brothers. But mainly he loved to go to Estonia, Lithuania and Poland to raid. And that's where his very bad fortune happened. Because once he came back from the Baltic states, he wasn't too happy with his route. So he just dropped by into Viken, close to today's Oslo, and did a little raid. But in the meantime, Norway was one kingdom, and there was a new law. You are not allowed to raid within Norway. The penalty is death. But as the king's good friend and son of his father, of course, he was the earl where he lived, he was only outlawed and banished from Norway. So he gathered up more than 700 people. He had 6 longboats of the big kind, with 120 rowers in each and a lot of people and livestock and food. And he set off.
Y lamentablemente no les puedo compartir toda la historia del vikingo Rollo en este video porque me pidieron que lo dejara un poquito misterioso para que cuando ustedes vengan a Noruega puedan tener la oportunidad de descubrir la historia completa cuando tomen este tour. Pero si les gustaría que en otro video les platique un poquito más sobre este tema, no se les olvide que me lo pueden decir en los comentarios.
Hello, my name is Richard and I'm the CEO of Rollo's Footsteps. This is a newly founded company. We started up 1 year ago, actually 2 years ago it was founded. And we started to we collected the stories, we went to the museums, and took contact with all the people who know stuff about Vikings. Used 1 year to collect the information, read a lot of books. We bought some really nice costumes, locally made actually. And we found a friend of mine who has a Viking boat, the one we just saw. And we made a deal to rent that every summer, as long as it's floating. So we hope it will keep on floating for some years. And we started a company. And by joining the forces of creativity and business, we actually make this floating. It's hard work, a lot of hard work on every side, but it's fun work. And we have calculated that in 2025 maybe we will make some money as well. But time will show.
Is there anything that you would like to add?
I have a lot to add, but if you like to hear it, you should come and visit us. If you look down here in the description, you will find our social media pages and our booking pages. Or just send an email and ask any questions, and we can add everything.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was very nice to meet you and to learn a lot about Vikings.
Thanks the same to you. Have a nice day.
Espero que les haya gustado mucho este video y sobre todo que les haya sido de utilidad. Nosotros nos divertimos muchísimo ese día, and we want to thank the guys from Rollo's Footsteps for the amazing day that we had with them. Thank you so much for being so welcoming and so patient with us, and of course, we would love to collaborate with you again. No se les olvide que les voy a estar dejando todos los links de contacto e información de los vikingos en la cajita de descripción. Nos vemos a la próxima. Ha det bra!